here today just to tell the truth. So hopefully we can get down to the bottom of this. I'm 100%, the charges against me are 100% false, and hopefully due to time, we'll start to see that.
Are you not afraid about being blackballed again? These are some power people.
What do you mean again? These people are not powerful. Satan can't create anything.
Here's the thing. When you start pulling at the threads of a story involving Sean Diddy Combs, the whole tapestry begins to unravel. And what's underneath? Well, that's all everyone's whispering about. Let's be real, Diddy's name has been swirling around in conversations that go far beyond music or business for years. But with the recent federal charges and all the skeletons tumbling out of closets, people are starting to wonder if the man who built one of the most successful empires in entertainment has been hiding something all along. And guess what? Katt Williams might have been one of the first to call it out, long before anyone else dared to speak.
I thought Diddy would be throwing all his celebrity mates under the bus.
I mean, that could potentially be coming when it's time for court and when it's time for him to testify. But what we're seeing right now is how important public relations really are to Sean Combs. He's desperately trying to control the narrative behind bars, allowing his attorneys to do documentaries.
So Katt Williams has always had a knack for saying the quiet part out loud, and this time it's no different. During a comedy special earlier this year, Katt didn't just throw shade, he basically lit up the entire forest. He talked about turning down invitations to certain parties, particularly ones hosted by Diddy. Why? According to Katt, those parties weren't exactly your typical Hollywood gatherings. You gotta tell him no, Katt said, claiming he had the receipts to back up everything he was saying. And now with the recent allegations against Diddy, people are looking back at Katt's comments like he was some kind of prophet, warning us about what was to come.
Pop star Aaron Carter has at the age of 34.
Yeah, the troubled performer grew up in the limelight, but he was in and out of rehab several times.
But let's start at the beginning, because this doesn't just begin with Katt Williams or even the recent legal drama. To understand how deep this all goes, you have to rewind the clock to the early days of Diddy's career. Back in the 90s, when Diddy was still climbing the ladder, he was taken under the wing of Andre Harrell, the founder of Uptown Records. Andre saw something special in Diddy, mentoring him and giving him his first big break in the music industry. Together, they built something extraordinary, with Diddy helping to shape the careers of artists like Mary J. Blige and Jodeci. But as Diddy's ambitions grew, so did the tensions between him and Andre. Eventually, Diddy left Uptown Records and struck out on his own, creating Bad Boy Entertainment. The split wasn't exactly amicable. There were whispers that Diddy's departure wasn't just about creative differences, but about power struggles and control. And here's where things start to get murky. Andre Harrell, who was once like a mentor to Diddy, passed away in 2020. The official cause, heart failure. But some people think there's more to the story. Why? Because Andre was reportedly working on a tell-all memoir before his passing, one that might included details about his time with Diddy and the behind-the-scenes drama at Uptown Records.
Yeah, Rick, MB, the street is now cleared. People have been moving in and out of that home behind me all day. And tonight we heard from some of those closest to Aaron Carter, and they all say the same thing. They all share stories of a very kind, loving, caring, humble, yet troubled young man.
And Andre wasn't the only one. Heavy D, another Uptown Records legend, had also been reportedly working on a book before his sudden passing in 2011. Heavy D was a trailblazer in hip-hop, and his influence helped pave the way for Bad Boy Entertainment's rise. But like Andre, his story ended abruptly. The official explanation was a pulmonary embolism, but once again, people couldn't help but notice the timing. Heavy D's demise came just as the industry was starting to shift, with more and more people speaking out about the darker side of fame.
Is that I'm quite likely to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
Then there's Kim Porter, the woman at the center of some of the most chilling rumors. Kim wasn't just one of Diddy's former partners, she was the mother of 3 of his children, and someone who knew him better than almost anyone else. In 2018, Kim passed away at the age of 47, with officials citing pneumonia as the cause. But here's where things get strange. Kim was reportedly working on a memoir before her sudden passing, and according to multiple sources, that book was set to reveal some explosive truths about her relationship with Diddy.
Well, Kim Porter, that is Diddy's ex, who's also the mother of his 3 of his children,
Right.
has detailed the alleged abuse that she suffered at his hands.
Oh, no.
And this is all in a memoir.
Al Bisher, Kim's ex and the father of her oldest son, has been one of the loudest voices questioning the circumstances of her passing. He's called it a tragic setup on more than one occasion, even going so far as to say that Kim's life was taken from her. Al Bisher has also claimed that Kim texted friends shortly before her passing saying, "He got me." Who is she talking about? That's the million-dollar question. But it doesn't stop there. After Kim's passing, Diddy reportedly showed up at her home with his security team and confiscated her phone. Why? And what was on that phone? These are the kinds of questions that keep circling with no clear answers in sight.
Person that really put their hands on women really is men who have feminine traits. So, it really takes a coward to put his hands on a woman. So, a man is so strong enough, we can just walk away. You can do, it's so many different things that you can do other than get upset, put your hands on a woman. But that comes from a man who's not quite a grown man.
The details of Kim's supposed memoir, which some claim was leaked after her passing, paint an even darker picture. The alleged manuscript includes shocking claims about control, manipulation, and even surveillance. According to reports, Kim felt like she was being watched at all times, with her phone lines tapped and her home wired. She reportedly wrote about being forced into situations she didn't want to be in, with people she didn't trust. And then there are the allegations about financial control, how Diddy allegedly used his wealth and power to keep her in line, even threatening to take custody of their children if she ever tried to expose him.
It was all, insecurities. Anytime a man would go out his way to wiretap someone's phone or put taps in their homes just to monitor their conversation, that's a sign of insanity. So when you see someone doing that, you can imagine everything else they do.
If all of this sounds like the plot of a Hollywood thriller, that's because it practically is. But it's not just Kim's story that raises eyebrows. Let's talk about Biggie Smalls. The notorious B.I.G. wasn't just Diddy's protege, he was the face of Bad Boy Entertainment and one of the most iconic rappers of all time. His demise in 1997 remains one of the most infamous unsolved cases in music history. And while the official narrative has always been that Biggie was caught in the crossfire of the East Coast-West Coast feud, there are plenty of people who think there's more to the story. Uncle Ron, a former bodyguard who worked in the industry, has made some explosive claims about Biggie's passing. According to Uncle Ron, Biggie was starting to push back against Diddy's control, particularly when it came to his music rights. Biggie reportedly wanted ownership of his catalog, a move that would have cost Diddy millions. Not long after those conversations started, Biggie was gone. Uncle Ron has alleged that Biggie's demise wasn't just a tragic accident, but the result of a calculated plan to protect certain interests. And here's the kicker, Uncle Ron himself passed away under mysterious circumstances shortly after making these claims public.
Now, to the latest on the arrest of Sean Diddy Combs. This one has so many people talking. The disgraced music mogul facing federal racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking charges. Both the prosecution and defense teams are set to discuss the next phase of action following the indictment as investigators work to determine potential co-conspirators. But how exactly did we get here?
And then there's Craig Mack, one of the first artists to sign with Bad Boy Entertainment. Craig's breakout hit, Flava in Ya Ear, helped put the label on the map. But after a few years, Craig's career seemed to stall, with some saying he was pushed aside to make room for Biggie. Like others in Diddy's orbit, Craig reportedly grew frustrated with the way he was being treated. He wanted more control over his music and his career, but according to sources, Diddy wasn't willing to give it to him. Craig eventually left the industry altogether, joining a religious group in South Carolina. He passed away in 2018, with the official cause listed as heart failure. But once again, the timing has people talking. Craig reportedly spent his final years voicing frustrations about his time with Bad Boy, and some believe he was silenced before he could say too much.
All lies will be exposed, that's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
And it doesn't stop there. Anthony Wolf Jones, one of Diddy's closest confidants and bodyguards, also met a tragic end. Wolf was more than just security, he was a key player in Diddy's rise to success, even investing hundreds of thousands of his own money into Bad Boy Entertainment. But as Diddy's empire grew, their relationship reportedly soured. Some say Wolf felt he wasn't being properly compensated or respected, leading to tensions between the two. Wolf was eliminated in a confrontation outside a nightclub in Atlanta, and while the incident was officially ruled as self-defense, the circumstances remain murky. Adding fuel to the fire, there have been long-standing rumors that Wolf was the real father of Diddy's firstborn son, just in a claim that's been reignited in recent years.
Hey, real quickly, all that commissary stuff, he's not getting any of that because people in the shoe have an abbreviated list. So he's out of luck. No stake for him. Yeah, he is on watch. This guy thought he would have went home. All of a sudden, he didn't get bond. Remember, the first night that he was there.
At this point, the pattern is hard to ignore. People who get too close to Diddy or who dare to challenge him seem to end up facing some kind of misfortune. Is it all just a series of tragic coincidences? Or is there something more sinister at play? That's the question everyone's asking. And with Katt Williams out here dropping breadcrumbs, it feels like the truth might finally be coming to light. But hold on, because we're just getting started. As more names and stories come to the surface, the picture only gets darker. What happened to Kim? To Biggie? To Heavy D? To all the others whose stories were cut short? And why does it all seem to lead back to one man? Stick around, because the next chapter of this saga is even more shocking.
The only man currently facing charges in the case, Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, claims that Sean Combs, also known as Diddy, paid for a hit on Tupac.
Now, let's talk about one of the most unsettling twists to come out of the swirling allegations surrounding Sean Diddy Combs, the shocking and mysterious passing of Aaron Carter. Yes, Aaron Carter, the former teen pop star who rose to fame in the late 1990s, has somehow been pulled into the orbit of Diddy's growing list of controversies. And while the surface details of Aaron's passing might seem straightforward, the deeper you dig, the more questions arise. What really happened to Aaron Carter? How did his name get tangled up with Diddy? And why are there whispers that Aaron might have been silenced before he could reveal something explosive? Let's start with the basics. Aaron Carter was found lifeless in the bathtub of his home in Lancaster, California, on November 5th, 2022. The official cause: it was ruled an accidental drowning, complicated by the presence of substances in his system. At first glance, it seemed like another tragic story of a young star battling personal demons, but almost immediately, rumors started swirling that there was more to the story. And one name kept coming up in those rumors: Diddy.
She hadn't seen him all day Friday, and then decided she always gave him coffee in the morning, made coffee for him. So she went to his door, his bedroom door, and knocked on it, and then heard the dog in an extremely agitated state inside Aaron's bedroom. And that's when she decided she would open the door, and she discovered him. But it looks, Brad, like he had been for some time.
To understand why, we need to look at what Aaron had been saying in the months leading up to his passing. Aaron Carter was never one to hold back. He was outspoken, unfiltered, and unafraid to call out people in the industry. And in 2022, he seemed to be on a mission to expose what he called the dark side of Hollywood. He claimed he had information on some of the biggest names in the business, and he wasn't afraid to name names. During a now infamous Instagram live session, Aaron said, "I know who's after me. I know what they're trying to do. They'll try to make me look crazy, but I'm not crazy. I have receipts."
You're 29, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so this started when you were 7. Because one of the things that I've noticed with you, and God bless you, because the stress you're under, but then on top of that, everything's out there. After the DUI, I know that hurts you. Because again,
Alleged
more public.
DUI.
Alleged DUI.
But it was what he said about Diddy that really raised eyebrows. In multiple interviews and social media posts, Aaron hinted that he had inside knowledge about Diddy's inner circle knowledge that could ruin him. He even claimed to have recordings and documents that would blow the lid off everything. Some reports suggested that Aaron was planning to release this information in a tell-all memoir which he had been working on for years. The book, according to insiders, was set to include shocking revelations about the music industry, including details about Diddy's infamous parties and his alleged role in manipulating and exploiting young artists.
My family knows. Before I did the show, the doctors, they knew that I was taking Xanax and stuff like that, and that I was going to actually psychiatrists to do that. I know that there is no happy ending to any of those medications.
Proud of you for realizing that.
Here's where things get even stranger. Just weeks before his passing, Aaron reportedly reached out to multiple publishers, trying to secure a deal for his memoir. One publisher, who spoke anonymously, claimed that Aaron was desperate to get his story out, saying he felt like time was running out. Some sources even alleged that Aaron had been receiving threats, cryptic messages warning him to stay quiet and let it go. And then, just like that, he was gone. Now, let's talk about the scene at Aaron's house. According to initial reports, Aaron was found fully clothed in the bathtub, wearing a t-shirt and a necklace. This detail immediately struck people as odd. Why would he be fully dressed in the tub? His fiancée, Melanie Martin, questioned this publicly, saying he was wearing a t-shirt and necklace in the bathtub, which doesn't make sense. Why would he be in a bathtub with clothes on? I don't understand the chain of events. But that's not all. Melanie also claimed that Aaron's phone, which he was practically inseparable from, was missing for hours after his passing. It was later found in his car, a detail that only added to the speculation. Why would his phone be in the car? And who had access to it during that time?
Watching Puff at the Beverly Hills Hotel, I'm filming this, and it's a pool party that is ridiculous money.
Then there's the matter of Aaron's housekeeper, who reportedly found him and called the authorities. According to some accounts, this housekeeper was a relatively new hire a woman Aaron had taken in just weeks earlier because she needed a place to stay. But here's the thing, multiple sources have since questioned her story, pointing out inconsistencies in her timeline and behavior. Some have even suggested that she might have been planted there to keep an eye on Aaron. It sounds far-fetched, but in the world of Hollywood conspiracies, nothing is off the table.
Look, April 11th last year, bad headache. Asked my boy for an Advil. Gone for 20 days.
And then there's the connection to Diddy's infamous freak-off parties. These gatherings, which have been described by multiple sources as anything but ordinary, were allegedly a breeding ground for power plays and leverage. Aaron, who had been a child star, claimed to have attended at least one of these gatherings in his younger years. In a resurfaced interview, he described feeling out of place and terrified, hinting that what he saw at these parties left a lasting impression. "They think you're too young to understand, but you understand," Aaron said in the interview. "You see things and you remember?" But it wasn't just what Aaron saw, it was what he might have been a part of. There are rumors that Aaron was pressured into situations he wasn't comfortable with, situations that he later described as traumatizing. And while he never explicitly named Diddy as one of the people involved, he did say that the people who organized these gatherings were powerful enough to ruin your life if you crossed them.
I hope the Vegas Police Department do their due diligence and get down to the bottom of it.
So, what was Aaron planning to reveal? According to some sources, Aaron's memoir was set to include details about these parties, as well as allegations about how young artists were manipulated and controlled by industry elites. He also reportedly had emails, texts, and even video footage to back up his claims. One source close to Aaron said he wasn't just talking, he had proof, and that's what scared people. And then there's the timing of it all. Just days before his passing, Aaron posted a cryptic tweet directed at Ye. "Let's talk, man to man," the tweet read. While it's unclear what Aaron wanted to discuss, some have speculated that he was reaching out to Ye because he felt they had a shared understanding of the industry's darker side. Others believe the tweet was a desperate plea for help, a last-ditch effort to align himself with someone who might understand what he was going through.
Diddy back in the day, when Diddy had all of the songs out, he was so famous.
But here's the really chilling part. Aaron wasn't the only one who seemed to be speaking out against Diddy and the industry at large. Just months earlier, another former collaborator of Diddy's had come forward with his own allegations, claiming that Diddy used his power and influence to silence anyone who posed a threat. And while these claims were largely dismissed at the time, Aaron's passing has brought them back into focus. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Was Diddy directly involved in what happened to Aaron Carter? On paper, there's no hard evidence linking him to Aaron's passing. But when you look at the bigger picture, the threats, the missing phone, the strange circumstances, it's hard not to wonder. And it's not just fans who are asking these questions. Melanie Martin, Aaron's fiancée, has been vocal about her doubts, calling for a deeper investigation into what really happened. "This isn't over," she said in a recent interview. "Aaron deserves the truth, and so do his fans."
Well, but the truth is, in 20 years, I never been on a commercial audition in my life. Like, I never let my tour get sponsored when I was broke.
As for Diddy, he has remained silent on the matter, even as his name continues to be brought up in connection with Aaron's passing. Some see this silence as a calculated move, a way to avoid drawing more attention to the growing allegations against him. Others see it as an admission of guilt, a sign that he knows more than he's letting on.
I can't win over there because I don't play. I don't participate. Like, you can't buy me, not because I'm not for sale. You can't buy me because I'm not in the store. It's different.
Whatever the case may be, one thing is clear, Aaron Carter's story is far from over. The more people dig, the more questions arise, and the more it feels like the truth is just waiting to be uncovered. So what really happened to Aaron Carter? Was he silenced before he could reveal something that would shake the industry to its core? Or is this all just a tragic coincidence, a series of unfortunate events that have been blown out of proportion? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more celebrity news and updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.